Right, so now for a few more advanced. So refinancing after Y years for X amount of dollars. So any broker is going to say, oh, you can't refinance if you don't have at least 20% down in the property. And that's true for rules today. But keep in mind, like, there's other ways to get money. Like, let's say I get a line of credit that's secured against the property, and even though I got percent down to maybe 5%, maybe even 0, I can still pull out equity. So, I mean, creative solutions, right? So this is kind of an interesting thing. It allows you to refinance, choose how much you want to refinance, and you get to choose what year, and then it'll tell you what your NPV is after that. So let's say I can refinance for 50 grand, and let's say I can do that in year 5. You can see everything kind of adjusted here. Okay, NPV is now at 12 grand, and yeah, it basically also accounted for the fact that when we sell in year 10, we're going to get 50 grand less. I didn't account for time value of money in that, just to preserve my sanity. So this is a little bit aggressive, but probably not unrealistic. Maybe knock a grand off of that. But you can see all of these variables here much more favorable. Look at construction rentals, far less sensitive. Property value, far less sensitive. All these NPVs here are positive now. Look at my worst case scenario. I'm going to lose 5 grand if I can pull out that much money, and I still have 5% down. That's just taking out some equity. So kind of an interesting analysis you can do. Now let's say something bad happens. Let's say a tenant damages the property. Choose what year it happens in. So the further in the future the tenant damages the property, the less cash flows will be penalized. But let's say I get $30,000 of tenant damage. Let's say my insurance won't even cover it. That happens in year 2. You can see it's now a negative 20% NPV. So that one really hurts. But let's say that one happens in year 8. All of a sudden it's negative $8,000. So you can play around with that. Now let's say there's a huge devaluation in the real estate market, because that actually can happen. Now you're never obligated to sell. Remember, this is still a positive cash flow property, so I'm not obligated to sell. But you know what? Circumstances can happen where you do have to sell, and it's good to see what that risk actually looks like. So let's say there's a devaluation in year 10, and let's say it's a 30% devaluation. Okay, so there's the liability. It'd be about 30 grand. You can see everything here are all very negative. All these inputs are very negative. Everything, you're basically getting into the ball game just to lose money. All of this negative, 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 negative. So you never want to get into something if you think there's going to be that much of devaluation. Let's say there's a 10% devaluation. Again, 10 grand is the NPV. Not very many scenarios here that are optimistic that result in good value. You're only really going to get value with property growth. If you're not very risky with CAPM, if your renovations are cheaper than what you expected, so too risky of an investment. So let's say it's a 5% devaluation. Okay, looking a little bit better. A little bit better. We have some more positive situations. But yeah, that's basically what you can play with. And I'll just show you the bottom part here. So I made assumptions when it came to the spider chart and tornado charts. But you can change anything here that is in the blue cells. So let's say increased property value after rentals. 50 grand is what I thought it would be worth. But you can change all of these assumptions and it'll dynamically update. Same as for the tornado chart. You can change these and it'll change everything. Same for this other smaller spider chart here, which is only for market rents. So that's the basics of this model. I could go through the other steps, but you know what? You can probably figure it out yourself. I just wanted to show you more or less how the whole model works. Thank you very much. This version of the model is posted online. It's open source. There's no protection. So if you want to change anything, look at it, go at it. But like I said, there is model risk. It's a very, very complicated model. So just use it at your own discretion, and I highly recommend you do a simple analysis. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.